Namaste everyone. Welcome to our 5th episode of the Newborn Care Week series. Our expert consultant Dr. Aparna is ready along with me to present to you all the highlights on the umbilical cord, skin and eye care, which is going to be the episode of today's Newborn Care Week series. So, the umbilical cord, which actually is a string of connection between the mother and baby, is usually cut off after the delivery. But carrying this stumped umbilical cord it seems to be very much complex and difficult for most of the mothers, especially the first parents. So, what tips do you actually give all the parents on carrying this stumped umbilical cord, madam?
Rightly asked, Dr. Sukesh. So, let me begin right from birth. Now, the current concept is to delay the clamping and cutting of the cord itself. So, the advancement or change in our thought has started right from there. Now, in contrast to the previous concept that right after the birth of the delivery, we would rush to run and clamp and cut the cord immediately. Yes. Now, the concept is to delay the clamping and cutting of the cord in stable, well newborn babies, by which newborn babies who have cried immediately after birth, we delay the clamping of the cord for at least 60 seconds. And this is found to improve the transfer of blood from the placenta to the newborn baby. This is associated with a lot of advantages, especially in premature babies. It improves the circulating volume of blood, the hemoglobin levels, it gives better iron stores for the baby. And in preterm infants, it has also been found to reduce the chances of the baby developing bleeding inside the brain. Now, coming to the regular care of the umbilical cord, the first thing that is to be remembered is to resist the temptation to apply something on the cord. The best practice is to just leave the cord dry and clean without applying anything. Now, typically the cord will usually dry and fall off by 7 to 10 days after the birth of the baby. Naturally. So when this happens, it is quite common to have few drops of watery discharge. Sometimes there may be a couple of drops of bloody discharge coming from the cord. This is quite common, and it must be remembered that it is best to leave it as it is. We must not be tempted to apply any antiseptic solution or powder or an ointment over the cord. It is also important to recognize signs of cord infection if and when they arise. So, umbilical cord infection is typically identified by the presence of swelling, redness around the cord extending for more than 1 centimeter around the cord stump, or signs of hardening of the skin, which we call medically as induration. If any of this is present along with pus-like discharge coming from the cord, then please immediately take the advice of the doctor, and then it may be safe to apply an appropriate antiseptic solution. Otherwise, it is best to leave the cord and the stump dry and clean.
So it means what you say is umbilical cord care is mostly left to the nature, because nature heals and nature takes care of the umbilical cord care. And you have also emphasized on how to take care or when to rush to your pediatrician and how to recognize the signs of infection of the umbilical cord. That's a very interesting, madam. And at the same time, similar to the umbilical cord, the delicate and soft skin of the baby also needs a special attention, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yes. So especially grandparents or parents at home, they keep applying a lot of oils, lotions, powders on the influence of social media as well, or TV advertisements. Any new brand that comes for newborn, they start applying. So what actually, as a pediatrician, do you suggest all these mothers on the skin care of newborn?
So as you rightly asked, Dr. Sukesh, the skin care is one of the commonest areas in which we would be commonly asked a number of questions, such as when to give bath, what type of soap to use, what type of oil to use, etc. etc. So let us begin with the question on when to start bathing a newborn baby. The ideal time to give the first bath would be after the umbilical cord falls down, which is generally between 7 to 10 days of birth. In a low birth weight baby, it is always better to postpone the bath until the baby crosses at least 2.5 kgs weight. The ideal solution to give bath is not very scientifically proven, and sometimes we say that it is not mandatory to always use a soap solution while cleaning or cleansing the baby's skin. plain water may also be sufficient. But when one feels like using soap, then the best soap would be the soaps which match the newborn baby's natural skin pH. Now we all know that pH can be neutral or acidic or basic. Now it happens that God has gifted the newborn baby's skin with an acidic skin mantle or pH, which is important for preventing skin infections. So there are ideal baby soaps which are also called as Syndets, which also are acidic in pH, and these are the best soaps to be used for a newborn baby. A number of brands are available and your pediatrician will be able to advise you which is the best brand to use. Coming to the other skin applications, it is not really mandatory to use any of the skin products such as powders or lotion or oil, etc. One may commonly find different types of newborn baby skin rashes on the skin which are typically transient and tend to spontaneously resolve. There are various reasons why these rashes may appear. Some of them are due to allergy, what we call as erythema toxicum. Some may be due to mild skin infections, and some may be because of blocking of the ducts of the sweat glands and the oil producing glands. Most of them are absolutely harmless and they will resolve completely without giving any specific treatment. But when it comes to what nature of solutions or products can be used, generally oil application may have some benefits, particularly in preterm and low birth weight babies, where some studies have found that it is associated with slightly better weight gain. Now, there is no such specific brand or product to be used, but homemade coconut oil is the simplest, easily available, and one of the best products that can be safely applied on a newborn baby's skin. When it comes to the other products, it's a strict no-no when it comes to powders, because these tend to dry the baby's skin and are more associated with harm than benefit. The use of powder may be restricted to sensitive areas such as the diaper area, which tend to become frequently wet, and that too only when it is absolutely essential.
You have emphasized a lot on the skincare of the newborn, madam. Right? Every one of us have at least had once in a lifetime tears in our eyes with crying. But the special thing about newborns is that tears do not appear at least for the 1 to 2 months or 3 months of their life.
Yeah.
So how to take care about these special senses of the newborn?
So again, the lesser done is better with regard to eyes also. So one of the first steps is to avoid the temptation to apply things such as kajal to the eye. Not only do they predispose the newborn baby's eyes to infection, but they also may be very irritating to the baby's eyes. The other common symptom that we often encounter is excessive tearing from the eyes. So this, as you rightly said, is not because of more production of tears, but it is because of inappropriate or inadequate drainage of the tears. So the tears are typically drained by the tear ducts, which pass via the nose, and then they drain these tears into the inner aspect of the nasal mucosa. These tear ducts may sometimes be blocked in newborn babies because of secretions or thick material, and this is called as nasolacrimal duct obstruction. This is again a very harmless condition, and we often just teach our mothers and fathers how to do massaging of this tear duct. So massaging is typically done by pressing the outer aspect of the nose from above downwards multiple times during the day. So typically we remind them to do this 5 to 10 times before giving every feed to the baby. When this is done, more than 90% of the times this excessive tearing from the baby's eyes will resolve on its own by 3 to 4 months, and 99% of the times it will resolve by the first birthday. In some children where it doesn't resolve despite these measures, then we may have to do a simple procedure called as probing of the tear duct. But if there is accompanying redness of the eye, this always may be an indicator of a more significant problem such as infection of the eyes, or sometimes other problems like glaucoma where the intraocular pressure may be high. So presence of accompanying redness in the eye is a significant problem, and this must always prompt us to take immediate medical attention.
Right. So this is more than an awareness. You have imparted a great education to all of the mothers on how to take care of the umbilical cord, skin care, how to massage the blocked lacrimal duct and everything. So viewers, this is about the most delicate care to the most sensitive body of the newborn. So stay tuned for our next interesting episode of the Newborn Care Week series. Thank you for watching this video.